Welcome back to tonight's Sad Reality. Last night's video sucked so badly, I was like, you know what, I'm going back to, instead of clickbaity things, just what I know, what I'm really good at, idle games. Probably the only thing I'm ever going to be good at. Maybe will only ever be my branding in life. Also, I'm going to turn off the sound effect because I don't like it that much. But the music's kind of chill, I vibe with it. Although I had to turn it down because it was really loud to start. But so tonight's video, I'm going to talk about minor inconveniences, because I thought it'd be a funny thing to talk about, and also kind of just the direction this game goes, assuming I ever get that far. But I also started recording this at 11:30, which means I have less than half an hour to get this up on YouTube and posted, so I'm going to keep it probably pretty brief. Although we'll see, you know how it is. So, I get to work today, and immediately I realized there's nobody on front end, and I'm like, okay, well that's pretty peak. Welcome to my store, I guess, where nobody's ever doing things or at their post or whatever. But in all fairness, I think it was a scheduling thing. I don't think it was like a people thing. So I guess another minor inconvenience, you know how it is. But we've been talking about making a Minecraft server since forever ago at the store. Not like my boss or anything, just like co-workers. I mean, most people are my age, slightly older maybe. I mean, I'm 21. Most of them are like 22, 23, 24. Some are like 19. There's a few youngins in there, but they're more like newer, just like summer job, whatever. I'm here because I'm stuck here, and I'm really good at being stuck here, and I'm really good at the job, so I guess I'm stuck here. It's kind of circular, but I don't know. I meant for there to be some sort of nuance in that, but turns out there wasn't any nuance. I have no idea what I was really doing. Since I sell 2 of these. Ice machine, oh yeah. Then we decrease the price of this, so these sell faster. So I'm still at least profiting 1. Actually, I feel like that's slower still. I should probably go for 9. Anyways, there's a lot of things that I find funny at work. Really the big one for me is always, this is so dumb. But as customers, first thing I ask them is like, hey, do you want a bag with all these? Because as I'm like scanning things, bringing them out, whatever, do you want a bag? Because I got to put the stuff somewhere once I'm finished bringing it out. And for me, it's nice to just compartmentalize things, you know? I feel like everyone's kind of got that internal head structure of some sort where it's natural to want to do that. And it's always my favorite when I'm like, do you want a bag? And they say no. I'm like, okay, no bag, whatever. At the end of the transaction, they're like, can I have a bag? I'm like, brother, am I crazy? Did I not just ask that? Like, me, the crazy guy, talking to myself on a mic, talking super fast, like how I talk to customers so they can't understand what I'm saying. So then I ask them the same questions over and over, and it's an endless loop. Maddening. Uh, so yeah, that was funny. And, actually, something that made my day today, I'm just gonna pause to talk about this, although ironically it was yesterday's inconvenience. So Dead by Daylight was down yesterday, right? And that was a big spooky thing, you know, the game that everyone's addicted to. Every console player, that's all console players know is Dead by Daylight, I guess. That and like War Thunder or something. I'm not sure, I'm not a console player. So that game was down. So I remember seeing an image that was floating around. It was like a bunch of guys in a server room praying to the server to like make it work, and it was like the behavior devs right now. Which I was like, oh, this is so peak. But then that was down. They were like, hey, we'll compensate everyone with 5 million blood points. But so sometime today, I think it was around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, these 2 guys walk into the store and they have the Dead by Daylight loading screen tattooed in their forearm, and I'm like, wow. I thought I was a virgin. But in all seriousness, I was like, actually, that's pretty cool. You know, I respect it. I don't have any tattoos myself, and I probably will never because I don't like needles. I have very low pain tolerance. That's me, I guess. I don't know. Super basic, but I'm fine like this. Such is life. What's the next thing? Lemon tree. Lemons cost no money, and they cost a lot. They actually cost the most. And then I jack the prices way down because then it's 3 cents a cup, so I jack it down to 5, and then it's probably much faster from there on out. Assuming I did the math correctly. Really, this is a game of optimization, so how fast you can sell the lemonade to then make the money back. I think this is arguably the fastest it'll be. I don't know. There's like whole speedruns for this game and all that because I don't think it's entirely RNG based. It's just ever so slightly RNG based. But yes, that's fun. What's the next thing that I was going to talk about tonight? Oh yeah, this is probably the most dumb thing I always think about, but it's really funny to me. So tomatoes on burgers, right? I think tomatoes are good, but most of the time I say not to put them on a burger, and here's why. So I've noticed every restaurant, for whatever reason, they like the tomatoes are sliced so thick. Like it feels like that's like half the burger. It's just tomato, and I'm like, we don't need this. Are we a tomato-based society? No. But just massive freaking tomatoes in the middle. Also, is the music gone? Hello? Are we all sad now? I feel like that's just like the void. Do I really have to pull up Spotify? Make the video slightly interesting, and then the music starts like blaring later. No music. No Spotify. Actually, I'm not even bringing up Spotify. Maybe I'll do this and I'll reset it. I don't know. For what it's worth, though, I think this is a game. It's like nice and chill for something. I think I remember beating it in like an hour or whatever. Just chill by myself one day, and I was like, you know what? This game was suggested to me on an idle games video I made, so picked this one up, and I was like, you know what? This is good. I like this. Very basic. It's chill, and I like simple things in life because I'm a simple man, and simple man like simple thing, like simple monkey. Now I just need glasses. Reminds me too. My vision is so bad. So I have contacts, right? And I actually just finished one of the boxes earlier today. Now I have no idea where this story is going, but I guess I'll tack that on the things of minor inconveniences. It feels like every time I go to try to read something, especially with like really small font nowadays, I'm just like, how do people read this? Like it's some of these things are so crazy. Receipts, for example, some of the things on there are so small. It feels like you're signing a contract to like something. I don't know. Distribute faster, distribute faster. I feel like, can you just skip to 400 here, or do you have to go the whole path? I feel like you gotta go the whole path. That makes the most sense to me. Gosh, there's so many other things I want to talk about today, and then I always like you get here, and then you're like, man, I forgot about it, you know? And there's really no way for me to recover those thoughts internally, which sucks. Working my content creation, that's like probably the most major inconvenience. That's really tonight's sad reality, if I have to say the line again. And it's funny too. Originally tonight I was gonna record with a friend. He was gonna be playing some Dead by Daylight, and I was just gonna be talking over while he's playing like Huntress or something. But then he was like, "I have a dentist appointment tomorrow," and I'm like, "No." I need someone to record with so I can literally just sit here and talk to myself and like actually kind of plan things out. And then there's footage in the background. It's perfect. I'm lazy. This is YouTube. I am the nobody that everyone aspires to be, apparently. Everyone's like, dude, YouTube's such a sick job. And then I'm like, if it's so sick, why do my parents hate it? Which is something everyone could agree on in the world, you know? That would be really nice. So our district manager comes in today, and he's chilling around. Our boss conveniently disappears within that time span. But he comes in, he gives a bunch of people like they're called high five cards, which is basically just like, hey, good job, you're doing things in the store that matter. And I didn't get one. I was like, you know what? In all fairness, I've gotten so many of them at this point. They're probably like, he doesn't need another one. But I'm also thinking my coworkers were just on their phone, and like even after he left, they just went back to being on their phone. And I'm just like, doing things. What do they get to I don't really care. It's $10, but arg, sometimes life seems like that. That's something too. This is probably more internal. Me seeing a problem in myself because people have been like, "You're a narcissist," and I'm like, you know what? I don't believe you. I don't think I'm a narcissist. But then stuff like that does happen where I'm like, if they're on their phone, then I'm really the only one making things happen. I understand what it's like to then struggle with thinking of yourself in a sober way, which literally just means um, it is so difficult to think and like keep yourself humbled. Okay, so you have to progress to these, dang. Keep yourself humbled and not think that you're your coworkers aren't doing anything, because the truth to it, and I think this is kind of sad as well, people aren't perfect. People don't aspire to more than they are. People rarely do aspire to more than who they are at the moment. But it works because it's not just you, it's a team of people. It has to be that way because I also recognize that some of my coworkers are much more rational when it comes to customers that I think are irrational. And so then my response to that is, further irrationality. So there's got to be some balance to that and thinking about that. There's always crazy customers, and today wasn't anything crazier than normal. For me, the crazier part was honestly just it felt like everyone, and even my manager was talking about, was like, why is everyone so tense today? Because like it just feels like everyone is like ready for bad stuff to happen. I was like, I don't know. I don't think I was walking with a freaking Dead by Daylight tattoo talking about their like a ghost face main and their what was it? Bill and Dwight main. I was like, it's kind of funny, but it's stupid. It made my day. I smiled a little bit more. Next few customers flew by. Next 2 hours flew by. And then the day kind of just worked. Oh, and the reason I made this video, now I'm remembering. Now I'm really remembering. So kind of regardless of all the small things, the cups and the lemons and all that, there's the bigger picture, the bigger things going on. Oftentimes the things in the background, sometimes the worst things in the case of this game, or in the case of my coworkers, sometimes there are things that are slightly more important than just the things that are on the surface. So here's something I could never possibly imagine. I am 21. Can you imagine going to a funeral for someone that you went to high school with? So my mom's had to do that because, like parents, they're old, that is. But doing that at my age is kind of weird to me. Now, I have a coworker who's 20 and she's going to a funeral, and I'm like, okay, what happened? And she's like, well, he decided he didn't want to, you know, exist, perhaps. This friend, and I'm like, wow, okay, I understand now why you're stressed and why the stuff doesn't seem the way it is. We talked about that, and again, like I've been saying, life's not perfect and never will be, any of that. That's not something you ever just expect, though. That's not something I'd ever really be prepared for either. You know what? I'm chilling with this. Oh, that feels like way too upbeat for the thing I'm talking about. I can't see that ever happening. You know, that just seems insane to me. We were talking about like how you cope with that, and some people like to be more by themselves, and for me, I'm like I like to be with people because if I'm not with people, then I feel like I'm lonely, and then you kind of get trapped in your own head of thoughts and stuff kind of circles around. That's not really good in my opinion. Um, but then the issue with that is, well, you never really get to process things, and that's when you're by yourself, you really process things. You really understand what's kind of going on. And so she's got like her sad playlist and all that, but I'm just like, you know what? I can't blame you for not wanting to deal with customers tonight. We'll make things work, you know. And I can't call that a minor inconvenience, even though I'll title the video this. It feels kind of clickbaity, I guess, or not clickbaity, or it's not a minor inconvenience. That's like, oh my gosh, someone you knew. But it also kind of hit me too. We don't really appreciate people who they are in our lives until something like that happens either. Because I'm thinking, if one of my coworkers disappeared one day, how much would I care? Am I a psychopath? Would I not care that much? Would it not really dawn on me until it actually happens? I don't know. You know? For comparison, which I don't think this like apples to oranges, or probably more accurately apples to like dragon fruit. It doesn't really work this way. Um, I was thinking, like, okay, so my mom got in a car crash one time, and I was in the like the passenger seat, and like we were there for. It wasn't a bad car crash, but it's definitely a dumb car crash. That much I'll say. And I remember she was like breaking down in tears, all that, whatever. I remember how old I was, probably like 17 maybe at the time. I don't know. It happened 3 years ago, 4 years ago, five maybe. It's kind of hard to think about that, but I just kind of sat there and didn't say anything. Like at some point, officer comes up to the thing, and just a bit of a scene on the road. It's not like it's a sparsely populated area. It's close to an intersection. It's not an intersection, but it was like a side swipe kind of thing. And like I remember smelling the gunpowder and like gunpowder. It's the word. You know when the bags explode in the airbags. That's the word. And your ears kind of ring from like the noise the impact makes and all that. If you've ever been in one, whatever. I remember all that vividly, but I also just didn't say a word until the officer got there. I was like, yeah, here's what happened, and just kind of went from it. My mom was like, I'm like never gonna do this again, and people are when they swear off doing whatever it is, or driving, or being terrified of things, or whatever, and then they go back to doing it like a few months later, or like being on your phone while you're driving, which my mom is very proficient with, we'll say. Uh, in fact, she'll even do this too. She'll drive. She'll be putting on like lotion or whatever, and she'll be driving with like her legs, so she doesn't want to get the lotion on the steering wheel, so she uses like her knees to do that. I'm thinking, this is safe, maybe in a neighborhood, but why are we doing this like down like a highway? Maybe that's not a good idea. I don't know. Like freak accident happens, something slips. Uh-oh, another car crash. That wasn't the reason that previous one happened, but again, apples to oranges or dragon fruit here. I feel like I wouldn't have thought of myself as being the very strong silent type when it comes to something like that, and I was there. So I don't really know how think people process things. I feel like that's such a weird concept, but it's like kind of how things go, I guess. I don't really know. Um, yeah, that's kind of it for tonight's sad reality. I went from minor inconveniences to major inconveniences to I'm back here and I can complain about the tomatoes on a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich, or I can talk about death. And I know YouTube is definitely happier with one of those and not so much the other. But I think that's it for tonight's sad reality. It feels like a much better video than last night as far as commentary goes. I'm not nearly as tired for starters. Although ironically, there's no music and this is like literally zero gameplay. But yeah, so thanks for watching. This channel is garbage, but I hope it maybe amounts to something in the future, far, far future. We're at 6 subscribers. Keep it up for that after 70 videos. And we'll see where it goes from there. So thanks for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your night, and I will see you at tomorrow's Sad Reality. Have a good one, y'all.